Hi and welcome to this video. Today I'm happy to introduce you to Ruben. Ruben, he's from Garage61 and we have made a cooperation. So when you are using the baseline driver training, you will get even more benefits out of it. Hi Ruben, how are you? And welcome.
Hey Tommy, it's excellent. The spring has finally arrived in Belgium, so the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and that makes me happy. And talking motorsports, well, even more so. So happy to be doing this.
And I know also one thing more that makes you happy. You're going to Sanford to DTM this weekend, isn't you?
Exactly. I mean, it's my first time in Zandvoort, so I'm very excited to see one of the classic tracks in the real life.
It's a nice place, and yeah, and the race series you're going to see is also nice. But hey, what is it? Our cooperation together, what is that of a benefit for our users? Because it's a benefit for your users and also for my users. So how can our users feel this cooperation?
Yeah. So Garage 61, for those who don't know, it is like a place where you can record all your activity on currently iRacing, hopefully in the future a bit more, and really work together as a team to improve with different drivers. So you have a place to look at telemetry, to look at setups and ghost laps and these kind of things. And what we've built now is this little integration where you can not just train on telemetry and ghost labs, but also take the telemetry from yourself or your teammates and easily extract it into baseline driver training. So you have another tool in your tool chest and you can easily jump back and forth between the two of them. So when you hit a wall in the sim, you can actually then go and do some proper training with baseline.
Yeah, so you can use that so you can take your own data, or you can take your teammates' data and practice that. Yeah. Will you share your screen and then show it to our users how they can use it?
Yeah, my pleasure. So this is Garage 61. This is the main screen you will see. And whenever you start driving, your driving activity will get recorded and you'll be able to review it. And you'll have the opportunity to go in and look at all the telemetry, which allows you to study how you're driving. And to give a very good example, like let's say I drove in Hockenheim recently. And by the end of it, I sort of came to the limit of my abilities. I did a very nice lap for at least my driving standards. But there is more to be made out of it. I'm not the fastest driver in the world. And the nice part about Garage is that there's a very big community of other people who are also driving the same combinations, training for the same things. So you can start comparing to them. I'm sure you as a coach and a professional, you can look at the graphs here and tell me immediately what I'm doing wrong. I could also...
have a good...
yeah, I know. It's going to be fairly obvious what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, but that's also why I can see some data. I can see on data how you're doing and so on. But this is with your job and the baseline together. Then people can see it on their own and then work on it. Yes.
Yeah. So what I could do is there's a big search functionality in Garage 61 where I could just go in and then find similar lap times. And for instance, in this case, I'm looking at my teammates. I'm about 1.8 seconds off of my good friend Marnik. And that's obviously not acceptable because I have to be faster. So I can just take his data. So remember, I'm red, he's blue, and just plot it together. And then if you look at the time delta, you see there's some big gaps here. So this is where I'm losing time. So if you were to zoom in on that, we could easily see that there's a difference in driving style here. So maybe I should work my braking technique a bit. There's obviously room for improvement. And well, baseline is probably the right tool to do this. So what we could do, I could look at this and try to emulate it, or I could export it and then actually use it in baseline and really train it.
Yeah, but if you just stop here and just go in, dive in a little into the driver coaching and then see, okay, where can you improve and how can you improve? Because this here is, I will say, standard coaching. Because as an engineer, you are engineer, you will look at this data and say to the driver, say, you are going your gear is too low in the when you enter the corner, you're in second and in first instead of second. This is one thing that you could do. But I tried that to just go a gear higher in some corners. But hey, I couldn't do it because I did my driving style. The way I used my pedal was not adapted to that higher gear. So I needed to adapt my braking style, and then I could do it.
Yeah.
So if we go in here and we see you are braking earlier, and you are not braking that hard.
Yeah.
And then there's one thing more. When you are lifting off your throttle, you're at the end of the throttle.
There's a bit of a hesitation here, right?
Yeah, you're stopping your movement in your foot. So because you start thinking on how hard should you brake, when should you release, when should you shift down, and so on. So everything in your brain stop not thinking of the throttle release anymore, but start thinking of other things.
So this is because I haven't internalized like the muscle memory, I guess.
Yes, this is your muscle memory. Yeah, exactly. It's not, you have muscle memory, but not the right muscle memory.
Yeah,
So
need to work on
practice
that.
This is what we can practice. Oh, yes. And that is what we can do in the baseline driver training. So, Ruben, how do you take the data now and put that over to the baseline driver training?
Actually quite simple. So what you have to do is, suppose I want to take this data from Marnik, the blue lab. I go in here,
Yes.
and there's a little clipboard button here that allows me to copy this lab. So once I do this, I have the lab ID. Then there's a little tool I need to go to, and sure you'll provide a link. The baseline driver training tool. The first time you will need to authorize it to access your data. So once you do, you will land in this tool. And there's a box here that says lab ID, and the same instructions are over here, by the way. And there you just paste the lab ID we just got, click the button, and a file comes out, which you can then load into baseline driver training or do some further things with it, which I'll leave up to you to explain how to do it properly. But that's about all there is to it. So now you have the CSV in the right format, all the right columns, all the right data. So it should just work.
Yeah. Could you open the CSV file right now so you data with the brake and so on? Yeah.
So you can see the speed going down when I'm braking, and then later on, here there's probably a blip from the downshift, and then later on, when I get back on throttle, the speed goes up again, and I hit time signal.
Yes, exactly. And this is what, if you take this file you just took out of the Garage 61 and put that into the baseline driver training, then you have the whole lab. But sometimes you want to not practice the whole lab, but also want to practice one corner at a time, and then you need to go in and clip the corners out. In the braking zone, you need to clip that out of this CSV file. Right now, you need to do that manual, but we are working on a solution where we can do it.
I hope to add something where you can just say, give me turn 8, and it will give you the relevant braking zone and the acceleration zone or something like that. So we're going to make it very user-friendly. This is just version 1, obviously.
That's the way it's working. So as a driver and also as a driver coach, I would say it's you can take the better data and you can start practice it, and you can make sure as a driver coach you can make sure that your driver are practicing the right way of adapting the throttle and also adapting the brake and releasing the brake and so on. I think we talked about once back, we were talking about how to be a faster driver, and then you were saying you were looking at videos or the data from drivers who was a little faster than you instead of being much more fast than you.
Yeah.
And I would say that also correct to do that, because if a driver is 5 seconds faster than you will think, wow, holy shit, how can I be that fast? And then you maybe start losing faith in yourself and so on. So only if it's a second or two, then you can see it's easier to come to that level. I will say, if you can, the better driver you could copy, the better it will be for you.
Because you're on the right start.
And the better you. Yeah. So when you're training, when you practice that in baseline driver training, then you are not aware of that the driver maybe is 5 seconds faster than you, but you can just see the right movement of the pedal inputs.
Yeah, it's a bit.
We had the
It's an interesting thing. So I usually recommend, like, don't compare yourself to Max Verstappen because he's so much faster and he has a subconscious style of driving that you will never be able to copy. So what I usually recommend is, and there's a huge database of laps in Garage 61 that helps you, that is find a driver who's a bit faster and work up to his level of skill and ability, and then you will internalize the subconscious, and then you can take the next step. But you make a good point that when you're training pedal inputs, when you're training the muscle memory, you might be able to take a jump up because you're going straight to the right style and the right feeling, and you might not know the why yet, but at least if you're doing it correctly, then you will start feeling the why. So it's something I should try actually to really emulate one of the good guys and see if I can just make a big jump out of it, and I'll let you know when it actually works.
Yeah, please do that. I think that in driver training, this is the new way of using data to practice, so you can be an even better driver. And this is really a way that you can start copying the really good drivers instead of only the guy who is in front of you. So yeah, and then I have also a video. You can see that also where I'm working with data from Barcelona, from the Danish champion in iRacing also. He's really good. But I could take his data. I couldn't take the data from another guy and try to copy that. But I could take his data and then put it into baseline and then work with my pedal inputs, and then it start working.
Yeah, it's the beauty of motorsport for me, is that it's a very holistic thing. So you have to look at very many different aspects to actually piece together the puzzle, and I'm happy we could add like pedal inputs to the training regime in the new. I mean, it's that and that. Ideally, you also look at nutrition and sleep and all this kind of stuff, but we'll take it one step at a time, I guess.
Yes, and I could talk about this really for a long time. But you are right; it is a holistic thing. And 2 days ago, I was on a racetrack where we worked with the way he adapted to the throttle. He was too soon on the throttle, and the reason why he was too soon, it was because of he wasn't patient enough. So we were working with his patientness instead of the way he was going on the throttle. So it was mental we were working, and
so you had to give him some yoga classes to calm down and find his inner zen.
Yeah, down the straight he was just doing yoga.
Yeah. Also, I mean, most of us doing sim racing, the goal is not to become like a professional motorsports driver. I mean, that ship has sailed for me, at least, quite some time ago. But if we can be more competitive and have a closer field, the enjoyment is going to be so much more.
Yes, it is. And when you know what you're doing and you're doing it better, it just makes more fun. And also when you're racing against others and so on, the more fun you have, the better it is, and the more quality, I would say, you could put into it, the better it is, and still have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tommy, there is one limitation to the tool right now, and that is that you can only extract your own data or that of your teammates. So if you want to train together with people and extract the data to baseline driver training, you will need to form a little team together. But as I understand it, you'll be starting your own little community as well on Garage 61 to bring like-minded people together. So perhaps we should show this to people how they can be part of that.
Please do that. Yeah.
So if you want to be part of the driver community training, the training community, all you have to do is go to the right page, which you'll put somewhere, and press the blue join button up here at the top. You'll then get an overview of like what you will be sharing with the team, and it's up to you. So you don't have to share everything. You don't have to share anything at all if you don't want to. And you can go to your account page and just configure it to your liking. There's a whole system in Garage 61 to selectively share things with other people, with teammates, or just keep it all to yourself. Press the button and you're part of the community now. So which means that you will be able to see the activity from the other people. You'll also be able to filter on that when you search for laps, and then this is data I'll be able to look out for. And there's also team records. So whenever somebody does some driving, we'll be able to see who's the best guy and who's the one to beat, and to actually learn from. Hopefully, become that fastest guy yourself.
Yeah. We have iRacing ambassadors and also real life, and we will invite them. I can't guarantee that they will be here, but we will invite them and see if we could have some of their data to share to you also.
Yeah.
And for sure, I will also do the kind of data, but I'm not the fast guy. But my pedal inputs is it's okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
so you can use that.
Well, I'll hopefully be able to learn something from you.
I think you will. You're driving much more in the simulator than I am. So and I
Nowadays,
can guarantee you.
I think if I spend 1 hour a week, it's already much. I'm spending way too much time building R61, which is
Yeah.
maybe like a consequence of the thing growing, is that I've managed to remove myself from the sim racing. I'm hoping to get back to that at some point.
That's a positive problem. But I think if I'm mods in the simulator, it's 1 hour a month.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I'm still ahead.
And also, yes, you are ahead. You are ahead. Yeah. And also, if somebody wants to have some data, so please contact me.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you have learned how to take your own data or your teammates' data and from the Garage 61 and take it over to baseline driver trading so you can work more with your own pedal input and your muscle memory. Good luck with your own development.